Today we're going to talk about this box over here, which I just completed, and this is called Venetian Highlights, and it's made out of cherry. This is a mask, a ceramic mask that I acquired when I was in Venice on one of my trips, and the front is made out of paddock. This wood here is white holly. The Venezia is made up of yellow heart. Over here we have two different variants of paddock. This actually could be maybe Bubanga, and this is paddock. The sides are both made out of maple. Then this wood is paddock. This is Patagonia. This is yellow heart. And this is Wenge, and this is Patagonia again. And then the back is made out of white oak with two simple hinges that I got. I like these. They're quick and easy. They look pretty good. And after all, the art is about the box. So it opens up. Right now, I think I'll probably put a mirror here. But we're going to talk about the whole process of building this box.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the top of the box. And on the top of the box we have a mask. So I'm going to bring the scan of the mask in, which I've done on a regular table scanner. So I put the mask down, scanned it, and I made sure that there's a pretty good contrast between here and there. So this is the mask that I want to put onto the board. So in order to get that, I'm just going to increase this by scrolling. I'm going to select the mask, and I'm going to do Tools and Trace Image. So now that gives me a little bit of an idea of what I'm going to look like. So let's see, we'll kick up the optimize a little bit. We'll kick up this to 10. Okay, we'll kick up smoothness a little bit. And now we'll knock down the threshold. And you can see the threshold is coming down. And what we're looking for is as sharp as we can get without causing a problem on this stuff over here. So I think that's pretty good. Maybe over here. Okay, so smooth this out a little bit. Okay, so we got sort of all of the areas we're interested in. We got nice sharp corners. Okay, so I'm going to say okay. Now I'm just going to move the mask out of the way so that we can see things here. Now we got to prepare this, but we want to get rid of everything that we don't want to get burned. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select it and go black. Next thing I'm going to do is arrange and ungroup. So that allows me now to break this apart. Otherwise, this is all one solid line. I'm going to select what I want to be deleted and get rid of it. So there's a few areas in here that we just don't care about. All right. Now, since we scanned it from the bottom, but we're going to laser it from the top, we have to invert. So what we do is we take that and go up here and invert. Okay, so now the laser, when it will laser it, we'll do it properly. And we can fit our object right into here. Now the next two steps isn't critical because this is just the width of the actual object. So what we need to do now is move these out a little bit so that we get a little bit of an inset in the wood. So I'm going to select my first set here, and I'm going to use this tool over here, which is Offset Shapes. I'm going to go out, and I'm going to say OK. Now you can see that the shape went out 50/100ths of an inch, and I'm going to turn that blue, deselect, select the black, and get rid of the black. Now this side, I want to go inwards. So I take this, click the inward button, say OK, turn it blue, and then I'm going to select the black and delete. So now by moving this out and moving this in, I made enough room for this to sit down into the laser area. Okay, so let's see what we got. Make sure we have the cut selected graphics on. You selected origin. Okay, that looks good to me. Do that. And tools, preview. Okay, there's your black. And all that black is going to be cut out by the laser. Now some people say, well, why don't you do this? Well, yeah, you can. I mean, you can make this whole thing black and it might make it one step easier. But I just don't like to waste laser power. I mean, you're actually using up the laser by cutting stuff out that really doesn't need to be cut out. So I always try to be as minimalistic with the laser as I can. And this looks good. So I'm going to hit the OK button. And it's now ready to be lasered. And I'm very happy with this. So you just position this where you want on the top of the box and fire it away. Now this is the Lightburn file that I use to create the Venetian box. And what I do is I have the three files, the three sections, the front, left side, and right side. So I usually do the insets first. So these are generally done in black. So if I show this and do tools, preview, you'll see that all of this area is in black, will be lasered out. Now these on the bottom are the lines, and this is the actual inlay. So if I do tools, preview, you got the inlay. So this is the outline of the item that will be inlaid. Now, one of the problems I had with Lightburn was the fact that this was on an arch. But if I try to do the inversion, because you have to invert this to this in order to get the burn correct to inlay into the wood. When you inlay, when you burn, the top of the burn is wider than the bottom. So it creates sort of a V into the wood. Now, since I use about 1/8 of an inch thick wood, that creates a little bit of a problem. So what you do is you take this whole section here, invert it, and put it down below, and this becomes the inlay section. Now, the problem I had with Venezia is that when Lightburn inverts, it does not invert this curve. But when he puts it on the curve, he doesn't change any of the sizes. So if I bring down Venezia, invert it myself, I can now burn this as a separate object with a different color. So that's what I did. This is going to be yellow heart, while this part here is going to be white holly, which is American holly. And then I did the same thing for the side mass. I inverted on the x-axis, and on the right side I inverted on the x-axis again. So this is how I generally do my inlays. Now the kerf offset is always done on the inlay. So whatever this is cut to, when I do my kerf offset, the kerf offset is, let me show you an example here. Okay, the kerf offset, my kerf is 0.018. That's the width of the laser as far as I'm concerned. And it's generally not that much, and I'll go outwards. So this gives me a nice tight fit in most cases by using this particular kerf offset when I'm doing my inlays. Okay, now on to build a box.
So we took a piece of cherry and already sanded it down. So I sanded it down with 60, 80, 120, 220, 400 grit. I'm not going to go any farther than that on this. And we burnt it and used the acetone trick to remove all of the smoke residue. So I think this will look pretty good for the fit of the mask that we did prior. And I showed you already how I made the mask. So the next event is I've already trimmed the edges and ran it through the sander to get a nice smooth edge. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. So the last thing I need to do is put a round over on the whole thing. I'm going to use the router bit to do that. So let's try that and see what happens. Okay, so I got a nice little round over here, and I'm just going to clean that up with some 400 grit sandpaper, maybe some 1,000, I don't know. If I have something around here that looks good. Yeah, here's 400. And I think that should do it. Yep, that looks good. Okay, then the other thing I'm going to do, my next step, is to go ahead and oil it. And I will use some Wadcom oil on it. It's a nice edge, I like it. Just want to make sure you don't have any marks from the router left over. So a slight polish on here should take care of those problems. Yeah, I don't see any marks anymore. Like I said, on cherry, I don't usually go past 400. Don't need to. Okay, while we're waiting for the other box to dry up a little bit, I've already sanded this down like we discussed, and I just made a double check to make sure there's nothing, no scratches or anything that I can see. Now we're going to oil it. I hope this is in focus with Wadco Danish oil. That's my favorite. This is cherry, and I'm going to use an old rag here. And what we want to do, normally I would just pour it on. So let me try it on the back here. This is going to be the back. I just pour it on liberally and then move it around. Make sure I get it into the edges. Pour it around. And it gives a good look. Pour some more oil on. Apply it liberally. We'll get back to that, so we'll flip it over. Now here, because I burned everything out, this is going to be a little bit trickier. I'm still going to try to do my pour, but I'm probably going to, yep, see, I knew I was going to do that. But that's okay. I was worried about the glue holding down the mask, but, let's see what we get here. So again, apply it liberally, work it in. Make sure you get the edges. And I love this stuff. This really is nice to work with. Now you don't have to get anywhere in here because obviously all of this whole area is going to be covered by the mask. But, sometimes, especially me, I get it all over the place. Now the back also will have a big mirror over here. So you still want a really good finish here. I like to have uniform things. I might change my mind and not put a mirror here at all. Okay, so what we do now is we set up a timer for about 20 minutes. Let the oil soak into the wood. Make sure again that the edges are fully covered. Let the oil sink into the wood. And then I'm going to come back and pour another coat of oil on it, let it sink in for another 10 minutes. That's it. I'm not going to touch it. And then tomorrow we wipe it down solid, buff it up. Now we're ready to put on the mask.